Today I'm going to show you how to make a bucket feeder for your bees. Hello, I'm Griff Rees, welcome to Green Griffith. Here we look at everything beekeeping, farming, countryside living. Now we do reviews as well. Now me and Andy, we've put the last of the clearer boards on today, and this time tomorrow the entire honey harvest will be in Pembrokeshire, Ceredigion and Carmarthenshire, all in. We've just got to concentrate and feed for the next couple of weeks. Good feeling, Andy,
yeah. Ticking
those jobs off. Great. And what's the date? It's the 19th of September, so I don't know, about spot on time really. Yeah. You know, I always say all the honey off by the end of September, and at least first feeds in, I suppose we're a little bit ahead of ourselves there. So Andy's mixing some sugar syrup. Now a video is going to go out very soon on how we make our sugar syrup, and this is what it looks like. We're pretty expert at it now, but the pump that we've got in there isn't strong enough for the job, so we can't do 2-to-1 exact. So we're doing, I don't know, what would you say? So say we make it simple. Say we were doing 100 litres of water. We're putting 175 kilos of sugar in. That's as much as it can do. Once we go to 2-to-1, we get too much sediment on the bottom because the pump is only 250 watt. But we've just bought a 1500 watt pump, which is, well, you work that out, 250 watt, 1500 watts of power, and it's got a better shredder inside it as well. We're going to put that in there, and then we can be able to do 2-to-1, and we'll do a video on that because it's not good enough to show you yet, even though we've done tons and tons, maybe four pallets of sugar through it. So
4 tons of sugar. 4
pallets of sugar, some of it 1-to-1, some of it close to 2-to-1, like I was saying. So that is going to come soon. But today we're short of feeders, so I thought I was showing Andy today how to do a bucket feeder for, you know, feeding bees. And basically that's a bucket feeder. So we sell these buckets. It's actually a honey bucket, really good quality buckets we sell. So, you know, this costs a couple of quid. We drill some holes in the top, and then when you invert that round, it does drip for a little while, and then it stops because the suction inside there holds the syrup in, and you put it above the crown board, and then bees just suck the syrup out of there. So I'll show you how we do one. We'll fill it up, demonstrate it here, and then I'll see you tomorrow when we're on one of the sites, and we'll actually be putting these on hives. Now it is a super inexpensive way of feeding bees, and because we're getting late in the year now, we may not have time to do two feeds, or, you know, possibly 3 feeds like the way I like to do it. Trickle the feed in, because I always recommend people, if you can, trickle the feed in. Don't block the hive up too quick, but time is getting on. So basically that is what you call a 30-pound bucket. It's 10 litres it is. 10 or 12 litres of syrup, and you fill that up 3/4 of the way, so you can basically feed your hives in one go. Maybe 2, depending on how heavy it is. So it's a really this is one of the bee farmers' favourite way of feeding bees. Right, so what you need: a drill, and you need a tiny drill bit. Now that is a 3mm drill bit. 2mm is fine, 2.5mm is fine, but I wouldn't go bigger than 3mm. That is the size you want. And basically I do 2 at the time. You could probably get away with doing 3. Don't do too much because you want to make sure that bit goes all the way. Have it on fast, and then just nice and slow. I just pre-drilling the existing holes there. But we're just going to go around in a circle. You've got to be careful that you don't drill the same hole twice. Something like that, look at that, identical. Now to demonstrate this working. some of our thick syrup. This being invert, we've got in this drum, this is a damaged return. So when we get damaged returns, we don't waste anything here. We use it ourselves. So we're gonna go roughly about there. You've got to have that void there to create the suction. Now if you're wondering, Griff, when you turn this round upside down, all the syrup is going to run out. Well, it's not going to. There is going to be some drips. You can either just accept that, or what you can do, you can have a bucket or something on the, before you put on the hive. So basically, you turn this upside down, it's going to run for a bit, and then all of a sudden it'll just stop. There we go. And there we go, finished. Now another trick you can do, if you squeeze the bucket straight away and then come out, the suction works a lot faster, but you do squeeze a little bit more out, but it is a little bit more control that way. But, you know, there it is. It's not all going to run out on you and just run in the hive, but you will get that much run through. And if there is bees robbing, or you're doing it, you know, when it's warm, that can cause a bit of a feeding frenzy. So it's always good if you can get the suction to work and then put it on the hive. Costs a couple of quid to do. It's not my favourite way of feeding bees. It is definitely the cheapest, but it's not my favourite way. But it is definitely a genuine method that beekeepers use to feed bees, bucket feeding. You can see different ones on the market. A mesh type is a little bit better, so you get a little bit less running. But, you know, it works pretty good. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this with one-to-one. It's got to be a thick syrup. Right, let's put these on some hives.
So, tomorrow we don't want much robbing, and we need to keep a lot of space in the truck, because we've got space for 42 supers, and we're probably going to be taking off about that. So, we don't want empty canisters of drums hanging around, so we're going to feed these feeders now. Let's get to it. So when we're filling, remember, just like Griff said, we need to be about a third down the drum, down the feeder, so that we create the suction for the syrup and we invert it on top of the hive. Even doing it back home at the yard, it can be a bit messy. Much better here than in the apiary, and causing extra wasps and hornets and attracting them to the hives. Once we get down to daytime temperatures about 4 or 5 degrees C, it's going to be too cold for the bees to deal with this, and so it'll be on to any fondant if they're still requiring any food. But hopefully by the time that comes, they'll already have about 15 20 kilos of stores within the hives, and they'll be good to go for winter. So that's all done, and I'm just going to give the truck a bit of a wash down where there's some splashes, keep those wasps down, and we'll be seeing you at the apiary where we'll be putting these on the hives.
Here we are. A digger, big massive gold rush digger over there, just done the new access for us. So we're back on site nice. We just stripped this honey. This is Nantuck House, so most of that will be sold as Merlin's Magic honey. Excellent quality honey, the wildflower that they've got here. So we've got our buckets ready to go, clearer boards on. We just got to put treatments in these now, bucket feeder and away. But keep this video short and sweet. Show you how we feed these buckets on site. Now when we place the bucket down now, I want to place the bucket down and the bucket will cover the 2 holes, so we don't leave any kind of space for robbing. Alright, so we're going to flip this upside down. We're going to get that leakage. Just going to squeeze it, let it go. That's basically finished. And then we've covered the 2 holes. Suction is no holding the syrup in. Now, what people don't like is then you've got to basically leave your hive like that when you feed it. So if it's windy, this is far away from home. Now again, this is another reason I don't like using these feeders. The hive is left like that for a couple of weeks, but it's only a couple of weeks. But it's a cheap and effective way of feeding your bees. Right, we're gonna crack on. So this one's got a mesh floor. No dripping at all. Job done. Let's unload this, Andy.
Let's get it done.